No! No! No!
What is up, ghosts? Welcome back. Or if this is your first time, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. This is the Horror Pop Extravaganza. Normally, I'm a little more like, or like, sing about that shit. But today, I'm very tired. Well, we'll get to some of that, why I'm so tired at the end of the episode. Um, but if you're new, this is the place where the macabre meets the mindful, where we take a horror flick and we give it a good look over, give it a little tickety talking about, and then we take a little bit of mindful something, just a little something that might make us all, hopefully, just a little kinder to one another and to ourselves. Today, though, I guess I should say I'm Pops Ghostly. Did I say I'm Pops Ghostly? It's gonna be one of them episodes, homie. Okay, I am Pops Ghostly. Uh, and with me today is
Christopher Robbins.
Christopher Robbins. This might be the most on the point, not even on the nose, but on point names you've had. That's a good one, dude. That's a good one. Christopher Robbins. And you might as well, because what they did, to this flick or to this property, this intellectual property that people have known and loved their entire lives. So you might have had somebody, I don't know, rubbing one out. It would have fit the motif. That said, I'm not here really upset about this thing. I'm kind of excited to talk about this thing with you. And Christopher, it's a fucking good one, dude. Fucking good one. So, what is the copyright law? 100 years?
75 from the time that the person dies,
Okay, that the creator dies.
that the writer or creator dies.
Okay. So, for all of us listening, we've grown up with Winnie the Pooh as one specific thing. Oh, bother. Well, Piglet, what are you doing? Oh, dear Pooh. We're accustomed to something, and it really was a cool thing. The old books are cool. I've got copies of them. The drawings on the inside are really neat. They're telling some pretty cool stories. Well, this 75 years was up in 2023, apparently. It was probably, I would say they were making this in 21, planning 22. It was smart. It was absolutely smart because you took a property that is really ingrained in the culture, super ingrained. And they tried it with other stuff. The mean one, we saw it with the Grinch. Popeye, we've got Popeye the Slayer Man that I'm really excited to check out. Did you watch the trailer at least? Did you watch the
I
trailer?
did. Yeah, no, I can't wait for that one, dude.
I am's what I am. Like it's fucking great. And yeah, there's apparently a spill at a spinach factory, and that's how Popeye. Anyway, Winnie the Pooh. So we are clearly talking about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey from 2023. And this is what I can't remember. Forgive me. I don't remember all the creative team around this thing, but you'll bless us with all of that here in a second. But I do recall the first images I saw. They were like, yo, somebody's making a fucking Winnie the Pooh horror movie. And I was like, all right. I've watched some shit. I've watched street trash, many, many times. I really like some stuff like that. Zombies versus vampires is notorious from the early 2000s. It's just like, you staked me. That hurt. Like, just, terrible. This I was going into just let me see what you got. Throw something at me. Let me see what you got. And this time around, we'll get more into the discussion on the movie. I think why I'm a little more excited this time around watching it than I was the first time. But why don't you put it out there? Because I really don't remember. A lot of these cats, this is a very low budget thing. I don't know if they've gone on to do other stuff outside of this, but I'm assuming when it started, this was a relative ragtag group of individuals that just like, yo, we're gonna do this thing, and yeah, lay it out there. What was it, Christopher Robbins? Robbins.
Yeah, so the director, the the thought child behind this whole thing, which has now become a franchise.
Yep.
That's what this dude has gone on to do, is that he's created a franchise, not just of Winnie the Pooh now, but now an entire Poohniverse,
Right. Is what
where
he's
he's
calling
brought
it.
in Peter Pan and somebody else, whatever characters now are available. Steamboat Willie, I think he's brought into it.
Dude, and why not? Because you can use that. Walt Disney did the same exact shit.
Yeah, he did, and
Yo,
they're the most pissed.
right. And he's the one who did the same exact shit and was like, yo, here's all these royalty-free old fucking Grimm's fairy tales that I can get away with, recreate and stuff like that and make it a little more friendly. And people have notoriously done that throughout time. Once it's available, it's available and that's it, man. And you
And
look
these
at
guys were
stuff like
ticking down the clock.
right. And you
They
look,
were
oh
killing it
yeah, they had
before
that.
it was available to release.
Oh, they had that shit ready, dude, and I don't blame them. You look like stuff though, like It's a Wonderful Life. Had that not had a copyright flop, would it be the iconic Christmas classic that it is today? Night of the Living Dead. Like that sucks for those people, but in some way, it's kind of giving like passing the torch in a way. Like people are taking this thing, and we also live in a very big world with a small concept of time. The idea of these characters is so small in the big, long, broad scheme of time. You know what I mean? Like, this is, yes, and it sucks. But you know what? Kind of at the same time, fuck them because they want to use the money just to profit. If they were like really cared about the characters and da 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 da. If all of a sudden Winnie the Pooh didn't turn a profit anymore, they'd be like, fuck it, scrap Pooh. There's so many scrapped characters that are gone. But this guy, yeah, man, he had it ready. He had it ready to pull the trigger as soon as it happened.
Hell
And
yeah,
I
dude.
like that. I like the tenacity to go after it and just get it. Like make a plan like that and be like, okay, we can't do this shit for like 3 years, but it's gonna be all right. Just wait.
Yeah, yeah, and to talk everybody into it, be like, it's not cool now, but it's gonna
Right.
be cool in like 2 more years.
But it's gonna be, I promise you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anybody who's like, yeah, fuck you, Disney, I'm all for that.
Right.
All right, this thing doesn't have any big stars, but it has great performances, and so we should list out some of the people
Do it,
that made
dude. Do it
it
up.
happen.
Do it up. I'm trying to get my little light switch anyway, so take your time.
Nikolai Leone plays Christopher Robin. He did not make it onto the sequel for some reason. I'm still looking for that story.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some, who
Christopher
knows?
Robin.
But I thought he
Uh,
was good.
he was so good, dude. Like he deserved to be in a better movie. Maria Taylor plays Maria. Natasha Rose Mills, Jessica. Amber Dawn Thorne. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that's what it looks like. She played Alice. Danielle Ronald plays Zoe. Real original names here. Natasha Tashini plays Lauren. And Paula Coates plays Mary. And the real star of this show, though, is a man named Craig David Dowsett, who plays Winnie the Pooh,
Yes.
and Chris Cordell, who plays Piglet.
Oh, the
And do you want to know what IMDb thinks this
yes, yes, I
film is about?
absolutely do. I absolutely do.
After Christopher Robin abandons wait, hang on. It's written bad. Okay, I'm gonna read it just like it says.
Okay.
After Christopher Robin abandons them for college, Pooh and Piglet embark on a bloody rampage as they search for a new source of food.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, that's not bad, but also not good. But also, the title gives you enough. Winnie the Pooh, blood and honey.
Blood and honey. That's
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all you really need. So we open up in this thing, and I like the opening because you get this old sketchy kind of the way it looked in the books. You know what I mean? With just Pooh and Piglet hanging out by a tree and shit. And it gives you the story, the 100-acre wood, and this little boy named Christopher Robin who goes out there and then finds these friends. And the drawings are kind of crude, like there's Rabbit, there's Owl, there's Tigger and Eeyore and Piglet and Pooh. They show all their happy little adventures, and then they're like, Christopher Robin had to leave to go become a doctor. And Pooh and like all the friends are just in a cave and shit with like twisted heads, like getting all emaciated. The ribs start to show through and shit, and then you just turn and look in the corner and they're fucking looking at Eeyore, dude. This is heavy if you really think about it, because you're taking something that for us, one of my favorite live action shows when I was really young was Welcome to Pooh Corner or some shit like
oh,
that.
I love that show, dude.
Because I love the big puppets, you know, the people in the costumes and the cool sound stage and all that shit. I loved it. And so to see that like turn and look at Eeyore, pretty gnarly, man. Pretty
Yeah.
gnarly. Now, had you seen this before? Before this time?
Never.
Okay.
No. I had heard about it. I was always interested in it. It was on the radar, but I
Yeah.
had never like pulled the trigger because I thought it was gonna be dumb, honestly. And I was like, I got to be in a mood for a dumb movie, and it surprised me in some ways, and in some ways it was dumb.
Right. Absolutely. That's a fair assessment. I went into it this time. I watched it when it first came out, but I feel like I didn't really pay that much attention. Kind of half-ass watched it. This time I sat down, really gave the thing my full attention, and didn't go into it, tried not to go into it with any preconceived notions. And my world has been like heavy lately, dude. Just like a lot of shit going on in the world. And this watching it with those eyes, it was such a refreshing, just like, let's have fun with a horror movie, man. Like, we don't have to have some big, deep rooted story. We don't have to do all this stuff. Let's just have a good time for a little while. I'm not trying to sell you some higher message. I'm not trying to do some other thing. I'm not trying to, I know exactly what I'm creating. You know, it was almost like Terrifier again when I saw the first Terrifier.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels like that. And I'm like, dude, right on. And honestly, without Terrifier, I don't know if we'd have shit like this. You know, Damien Leone really paved the way, I think, for a lot of people's minds to open up like, yo, I could probably do that and figure out that much money, you know, a couple $1 million, probably. Yeah. I don't know what the budget was on this. I doubt it was a couple million, but it still looked good. Like there's a creative eye in this thing. There's a lot of cool angles shot from different places. And I was like, you know, this is fucking fun, dude. Like I had a great time the whole time. So I was really happy that I came back to this and then you brought it back up because I really enjoyed this go through. And either way, we get to Christopher Robin now in the future with his, I don't know who she's supposed to be.
His lady friend.
Yeah, lady Fred, fiance, something like that.
Oh yeah, it's his fiance. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
he was gonna propose to her in the 100 Acre
The
Woods.
100 Acre Woods. And she's trying to like, oh, Chris, I'm just here because I love you. And he's like, nah, for real. These motherfuckers are real. Like, you don't know. Pooh, Piglet, all of them. They was some real shit. So they end up going through, again, cool set pieces, dude. They had to reuse some. Some of them you could tell, you know, they used what they had, I felt, in really good ways. They found some abandoned fucking train trestles or some shit, had old cars fucking beat up all over the place, old gas stations. But again, it wasn't just the locations they were at. It was putting the camera on the ground, putting it up in a different place, you know, doing some different shit. So Christopher Robin and Lady Frank get out into the woods. This is so this is where I was sold, like immediately. I
Right.
like the Pooh mask. The hands might look
do.
like
I
some
really
fucking
like it.
yellow, you know, gloves, like some fucking
Yeah.
beach gloves. But I'm fine with that because the
And he's just wearing regular ass clothes.
right overalls. Well,
But like they
flannel
kept with the
shirt.
colors. They kept
Oh
with the
yeah.
colors. And then the mask to me looks legit. And they purchased the mask. It was a Winnie the Pooh mask that they purchased from like a Halloween store.
What? And
Yeah.
what, just like did their own shit to it. I mean, I
Yeah, like fucked with it a little bit and made it more
Sure.
like fucked up, made it move a little bit more in the mouth and stuff. But you feel like this is not a person in a mask. This is a creature of some sort.
And they always say that throughout this. They portray them as being like, God, they're some kind of fucking freaks. Or
Right.
it's like a pig and a bear and a man. And I was like, it's man bear pig. Look out, it's man bear pig. As soon as they said it, I was like, oh shit. So
But this doesn't exist in a world where the Winnie the Pooh is not IP. Like his girlfriend understands like the stories of Winnie the Pooh have been told, and he is the real person that these stories are based off of. Maybe he is the one that told these stories. I don't know.
oh,
But
see,
Winnie
I
the
didn't
Pooh
pick up
seems-
on that. I didn't catch that. That's a good catch.
yeah. He's talking about Winnie the Pooh, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "But they're real." And she's like, "Of course you think they are, sweetheart. Like
Right. I'm here
I'm
to
here for
support you.
you."
Right.
Yeah.
I'm here to
So that
support
he
you.
can come to the 100 Acre Woods and see that Pooh was just in his imagination the whole time. Pooh was not in his imagination the whole time.
No. This is a dope set too, though. It's like they live in their own little
Yeah.
fucking trailer park. They all got these little shiny silver trailers, and then Pooh lives up in the tree. And they're up there peeking around at shit. And I think we see some spilled honey and some other fucked up whatever. He comes doom, doom, like, and he's Leatherface big. At one point, they
Yeah.
portray him as being at least 35 feet tall. When he smacks that one fucking the guys, the whoever they were trying to help the two girls out at the end. But there's an angle where it's like so low below this dude's head. And I'm like, that's awesome if Pooh can just get that big. He's like, either way, they are up here and realize that somebody's coming, so they both hide. We see the little trailer piece, and then the sun and moon, do their cycle. It's nighttime now. They are going to sneak out while Pooh is asleep, and that's when he sneaks up on her, right, and starts choking her out. And Christopher Robin's like, "Fuck Pooh, no! What the
I,
fuck?"
I thought Piglet showed up first, but
Oh, you might be right. But either way, yeah.
yeah,
They both show up, she gets dead, and the effects in this are really good. I really,
that's where I was shocked. Like I was like, okay, it picks up right away with some great murders, which I'm like, sweet. And then yeah, it was like bloody as fuck, and I was like not expecting that.
right, for it to be that intense. And we fade to black, and that's when I think we get the Pooh, Blood and Honey. We see them taking Christopher Robbins. It's gonna make me laugh a lot. We see them taking him away. Cut to Maria with her therapist talking about the creeper, the stalker, I want to say.
Yes.
And she's like, "Oh, fuck, yeah, it's crazy. You should get out of town, maybe go out into the wilderness. It'll do you some good." So she's going to gang up with her five friends, and they stop at some gas station that's clearly broke the fuck down.
Right. You've got to though. It's like that's a horror movie trope.
Yeah, I get it, but at the
You
same
have to
time, like,
stop
holy
at the
shit.
creepiest gas station, and the guy that works there has got to be whacking off in the back room. And then he
Dang.
comes, what do you want?
Right. Hey, you got any gas? And he looks at her like, what? Like,
Yes.
right. And then he's just like, oh, 2 miles up the road. And to your point, I guess, why is he even hanging out there then?
Right. And there's like a murderous poo hanging around, like murdering people, like for apparently this whole time.
Well, I think we get some like newspaper articles or some shit go flashing around. We hear some voiceover near the credits. It's like, oh, sightings of man bear pig in the fucking woods and this. But they stop, oh, go up the road a couple miles. I don't know if I'm missing anything, but they go up the road a couple miles apparently, and they get all their shit and they're headed to this cabin that,
The nicest fucking Airbnb in the middle of the woods.
hey, dude, it's like killer nice. And I want to say we see some signs for the 100 Acre Woods. Oh, they do run into another couple at the gas station that the woman will come back much later on. So some super earlier foreshadowing. But yeah, nicest shit ever, dude. And at some point, though, we cut to Christopher Robin and Pooh. And this, I remember watching the first time being like, yo, that's fucked up. That's dark. That's real dark. They've got him chained in this shed or whatever it is. And Pooh, and this was kind of emotional, though, at the same time. He's like, Pooh, I know you're still in there, bro.
Yeah, yeah, he's trying to like, he's
And
like,
Pooh sheds a tear,
remember me.
though. Pooh,
It's
like,
Christopher Robin, Pooh. We were friends.
and he has the flashback.
Fuck.
Dude, but Pooh has the flashbacks. We just remember them as kids, like, I'll never leave you, Pooh Bear. Don't worry about it. And Pooh has that little tear. And then he looks at him. And like you said, they get some cool movement in the mouth.
Yeah.
And he goes over to the wall, pulls off Eeyore's tail that was pinned to the wall, and starts whipping Christopher Robin's back with it to open welt. Just bleeding out, dude, all over the place. And I'm like, good for you guys. Good
Yeah.
for you. You know what I mean? Way to take there. Like Pooh never could forgive him for that. Because they do say after he left, they went feral and stopped speaking. So they could talk up until this point.
Right.
They were communicating with him, but they decided to go for, and Piglet, we didn't talk about how cool Piglet looks. He looks kind of like Bebop in a way.
Totally.
Yeah. He's got, the big tusks, thick chain all over himself all the time. And bounce back to our girls. Everybody, let's collect up our phones. And this thing comes in, I think, in an hour and 31 minutes or something like that. It's a pretty quick
Yeah.
pig. And so we get all our girls out there, and she recounts the story of this dude peeking in her windows and then fucking coming in and trying to undress her and shit at night. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Da 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 da. The one girl wants to take pictures of herself all the time, and she's just out in the hot tub, like, eh, eh. You know what I mean? Always, or adjusting her bathing suit top or whatever it is, taking all these things. And she's snapping a selfie, and then she's flipping through them to find the one she likes. And she looks and she sees fuck somebody back, and she zooms in, and it's Pooh standing there. She's like,
And
"What?"
that was a great moment, I thought, because that was like taking all the tropes. Sometimes horror gets so tropey, that they replay things we've seen over and
Sure,
over and over.
sure.
And cell phones is like the number one thing that fucked up horror. And so they always are like, we got no reception out here. My fucking phone got broke. They have to explain away the phone. This time they fucking used it in the perfect way, in a way that totally made sense. And you're like, this bitch is about to die.
Right. But she was very non-responsive. At first, she's like, who's out there? Then she's like, whatever. You're not ruining my time.
Yeah,
After her homegirl was just like, yo, there's fucking crazy stalkers in the world. And,
right. Right.
and he does, though. He gets her, and really some good shadow play, some great outside set pieces. I just really liked everything. I mean, there's stuff you can pick apart. Absolutely. But from what I guess I needed from the universe at this time in my life, this was exactly it. But he bashes or chokes her maybe around the neck or slams her head all over something.
I think he gets both. And
Yeah.
then she goes running for it.
Because I want to say, like, somebody's head, he like smashes onto like a spike or like an edge of steel or something like that. And then Pooh's just always like eating honey and like, this is a gnarly Pooh, man. Really gnarly Pooh. But he gets
You
her,
said gnarly poo.
I know. Oh, speaking of which, just public service announcement really quick. On Paramount Plus, if you watch the old episodes of Beavis and Butthead, they still got the music in it. The music videos are still there.
Hell yeah, dude.
I was so excited, man. When Judas Priest came out there, breaking the law, breaking the law. Okay, back to Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So he gets her all hemmed up. I don't know. Or no, he fucking tied her up and drove a car over her face. Piglet had her. You remember they had her hog-tied. So Pooh
Yeah, yeah.
he mouthed her. I think Piglet got her with a chloroform or some shit.
Old chloroform trick. Well, what freaked me out worse than anything is that
Old
Pooh's driving a car.
And Pooh looked good in the car.
Yeah, he did.
Looked good in the car. I thought Piglet was going to smash her with the sledgehammer at first. However, but we did miss one kill. Their other friend who never showed up, the redhead that he mashed, that's whose face he mashed all over the.
Yes.
Right. So they take her though and run her face over with a car. We see the eyeball explode out. She's screaming the whole.
Oh, dude, that was the effect that I was like, all right, now I'm totally on board.
Right. And
I
it's
was like, that was great.
practical, it's a mix of practical and CGI, but I was like, this is crazy. And then they're just like, like Piglet's always like,
Yeah. I got to the point where I actually like felt bad that they didn't have more people to kill. Like they had to share their kills.
right.
And then as it goes on, we get more.
Yeah, they throw them some good fodder at the end. I hope they had a good 15, 20 minutes, half hour to get some investors. And then they were like, okay, now we can kill some more people. Let's get to Yeah, let's find a way to get them in here.
Well, going back to that effect though, that girl gets her head popped. She's wearing nothing but like a bikini. So like the way that they were able to fake that up and put a fake head in there, that's easy if they're all bundled up in jackets and shit.
Sure.
But to make like the fake head on the body, like that was legit, dude.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that I always get impressed with. Like I'm like, oh damn, you did a little magic trick for me.
Yeah, the craftsmanship behind it. That's a good call out for sure. Because it looks cool. And you can still even from even in the mid shot, you can still see the eyeball down there that's like popped up on the thing.
Because it's not fast either. They do it slow, dude. He like rolls over the head and she's like, ah, and then it pops and her eyeball flies out. Yeah, it's great.
Piglet's just
Squeeze. I love it. Feel like a pig.
and two of the other girls then find her. They go to walk outside, like, where's she going? They're like, what the fuck? Go running back inside. She's like, I got a gun. And when she says she's got a gun,
She's got a motherfucking hand cannon.
this I get on a low budget. You know what I mean? Like somebody's uncle or somebody's dad. You're like, yo, who's got a gun we can borrow to do this? And this motherfucker is a dirty Harry, bro. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. And so she's got this, kind of like Barry from Resident Evil. I've got this, big ass fucking Colt 45 that Barry carried around. Where do we get separated? Because you get one girl, because there was a total of 5 that made it to the cabin.
Right.
Now we're down to 4 because we lost one on the road. We've got 4 left. I want to say one gets separated into or they see Pooh in the house and shit. He wrote in blood, like, get out on the wall or on the window. And he's wandering around downstairs. One of them, I don't remember how, gets to the pool. There's a really cool, like, indoor Olympic kind of training pool.
In an Airbnb.
Right, right. I mean,
oh, that's right. Yeah, she tries to get into the pool. She's like, I'm safe if I'm in the water.
It's her and her friend, because there was 2 of them, because one of them is flailing around in the water. Right. The other one doesn't come in until a couple seconds later. But Piglet, and this is rad, he just marches into the water like a Jason Voorhees with a sledgehammer in his hand. And
that was so creepy, dude. He's like slapping the water with it.
Yeah, trying to hit in the water, and she's barely, get away from me, Piglet. Even though I don't think they call him Piglet. She doesn't. The other girl watches her friend get knotted right in the whole hole. There's a cage in her face.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing left. Where was your face? I don't know. It's fucking gone.
Well, and I'm wondering the whole time, like, again, my mind is probably in the wrong place, but I'm like thinking, like, so if you had a sledgehammer and you hit somebody in a pool, how hard would you have to fucking swing that to get a good hit to really explode their head? And then I was like, oh, this Piglet's probably got supernatural power.
And it seems they do. It seems they do. Because we'll get to, some of the shit with Pooh later, but there is something supernatural going on here. I mean, they're like fucking goblins or demons or something. I don't know. Clearly he's a giant man bear pig.
But that's what's great. We don't care.
We don't care.
This movie just starts and just goes, and it never stops for you to think. Because if you did, it would fall apart. Hey, but we're in a fucking chase from the first murder. And from the girl getting her head popped, we're running through the rest of this movie.
And you're right. It keeps going. So he knots her, bang, and then the friend, I want to say, gets away right here, or does Piglet I don't think Piglet gets hurt too right here, does he?
I'm trying to think. I just remember her standing on the side of the pool, like screaming that her friend was like floating there with no head.
Right. And it was just a mashing hole. Yeah.
And then Pooh shows up.
So Pooh takes a cut. He takes one of them. I want to say
she blasts Piglet in the face with the gun, right?
No,
Piglet's head goes bye-bye at some point.
That's when she tortures him and hits him with the sledgehammer. Once she gets him hemmed up, and that's later on. Either way, let's just continue on. It's all right. These kind of plot details, we'll just get what we can. If you really want to, you should watch, Blood and Honey. But anyway, I think our other 2 friends are still upstairs, Maria and one of the with the glasses, the woman with the glasses on. And she's got the gun. Okay, we're gonna fucking try and kill Pooh, but we got to get to the camp because he took our other friend or something like that. We've got to get to home base. We got to get back to home base. And so these girls then take off after them. He hears screaming. I don't remember where Pooh was going, but he hears screaming in the woods. That's when she's killing Piglet. That's right. Because they find the blonde from earlier at the gas station, and she's fucked up. Like she's been mashed. Their friend has been tied to a table, and I want to say Pooh was getting ready to like dump honey on her face, but first he slapped the shit out of her for a while, and then they were able to wake her up. We got a lot of cool shadow things going on. You know what I mean? Like old school vintage horror, soundstage horror, which I really liked. So they get her off the table. Come on, we gotta fucking go. Pooh's off doing something, and that's when she gets to Piglet after she tries to bust a couple shots, maybe shoots him once, but he gets fucked up. She beats him with a sledgehammer, like, this is for so and Lauren, bang, and this is for so and so, bang, and this is for me, slap. And we were in the woods. He comes running back. They find the other woman. She sees herself in the mirror, and that she's like, "Ah, oh, fucking, I'm hideous. I can never live again. My name is Vanity, and I will do vain things." So she takes the gun and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and she's hollering for Piglet. So this must have happened before Piglet gets hemmed up, but she's hollering for him. Where are you, motherfucker? And he comes around the corner like, do 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 do. He's got a biker jacket or a biker like tight t-shirt on with a big chain. Looks like a cartoon biker. If you were asking me to draw a cartoon biker, that's what it would be like.
I thought he
And
looked like a bad guy from Duke Nukem.
yeah, yeah, there you go. I liked me some Duke Nukem, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Good shit. So she goes to take it. She shoots one off into nowhere land for no reason, and then goes to take a few more shots, and that doesn't work out. I can't remember how Piglet kills her, but I remember Pooh grabs old girl and puts her against a tree and slowly shoves a machete through her mouth until she's
Yeah,
just hanging there on that tree with a machete between her teeth. And
that was very Michael Myers.
yeah,
But
Mike.
they show it come out the back of her head and then go into the tree. That
Yeah,
was a great
it
shot.
was good. It was,
Damn.
yep. I was like, good for you. You know what I mean? Don't line her up directly on it. Show us a little bit of gap between there. That's a good
Yep.
thing.
Yep. And then don't they find Christopher Robin around this point too?
Yes, when there's only, they might have already found him somewhere because I don't remember how many it took to untie him. I think it was three of them were down there when they finally get him free. And he's like, oh, we got to fucking go. Come on, let's get out of here. And then more people end up dying. I'm trying to remember how the two girls are in the truck when the guy from the gas station gets it and his buddies. And then I guess that's where I'm at mentally. So we're just going to stay there for a second. But the because I feel like I'm missing something in between, but that's okay. Because these dudes roll up, they come running out of the 100 acre wood, and they're like, help, help, fucking. They see some headlights, help us, there's crazy monsters. And they're like, what are you talking about? There ain't no fuck, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, hey, fuck, Larry, look over there. And there's Pooh just standing up there. You know, we got some cool shit with like strobing effects, and then Pooh would be there. And here we get Pooh up in the street. And this is cool. They're like, weapon up, boys. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know it was that kind of party, but all right, give me a hammer. Let's do it. So they circle up around Pooh, who's bleeding out of his hand. He's been fucked up a little bit. And the leader, the ringleader of this little band of misfits is like, hey, motherfucker, you fucking with these girls? Like, we're gonna fuck you up. And he whacks him right across the face. And he just does that Michael Myers shit where it's just like, oh, oh yeah. And he's like, oh, you're kind of fucking tough, huh? Well, we'll see about that. Boys, shh, fire it up. They all start everything on Pooh, bang in the knees, bang on the arms. But Pooh is not falling down. He's stumbling and shit. And this is scary. If you're
Yes.
beating somebody with a bottle, you know, we got some great camera work here too. That slow motion bottle exploding to the back of the head looked really nice. The lighting was good. Everything was good. And they commence on to fuck up Pooh, and then Pooh turns around and commences on to fuck up everything around him. He grabs one dude by the arm and like karate chops his hand off. And he's just like, actually, he gets him with that. And I want to say at one point he's got the sledgehammer and he's like, woo, 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 swinging it around. And you understand the true power of this Winnie the Pooh. He's a force to be reckoned with. The girls, oh yeah, because they were chased by him. That's right. They were chased out up into this point because she grabbed the torch and was like, "Hi, boo, Winnie the Pooh. I'm scared of fire." So they hit him with the truck. favorite. Actually, a lot of this seems inspired by Halloween now
They
that I'm
they
thinking about it.
squash him with the truck, dude. Like he's
Yeah.
mangled. You're like, yeah, they got him. Pooh's dead. And I was
And
like,
then
oh,
he straight Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, pulls himself up on the bed of the truck and he's climbing his way up, like, oh, he's here. And he's working his way up. It's cool. I like it. It's somewhere with just, bouncing the truck on a fucking trailer or some shit on some hydraulics and, make it real dark and blow wind and fog at it. I love it, dude. I love it. I love just let's make a cool thing. And so Pooh ends up getting up to them relatively close, maybe some hands through the windows, grabbing at people. And then she slams on the brakes. Very, again, Halloween 4. Not only Halloween 4, a lot of movies we've seen. When somebody's on the roof of the car, you slam on the fucking brakes after you get going like 70, 80, 90 miles an hour. And then they go, doo, doo, doo. And he goes rolling off. I want to say gets back up here. Does he kill? I think he kills her friend before Christopher Robin rams him with the other vehicle.
right.
I don't remember how though, but I know the other friend gets it bad. She gets
That's the problem. We're making it sound like this is not memorable stuff. The problem isn't that it's not memorable stuff. The problem is that there's so fucking much murder and like in such a short
mayhem.
time that it's hard to remember like what order it all happened in, you know?
And a lot of the characters, they are archetypal characters, and that's
They're there to be dead.
they're they're poo fodder, and I'm okay with and I'm okay with that. And so yeah, but Christopher Robin pins him in between two cars. Boom. And this is fucking almost like Godzilla level strength, where he's just like pushes the first car off and then turns around, pushes the other one away. It's like, holy shit, dude, this Winnie the Pooh is crazy. And then he ends up snagging our
It should have been the fucking tagline for this movie. This Winnie the Pooh is crazy.
I'm telling you, I could go with that. I support that. Go ahead and steal it, IMDb. So
It'd be better than what they came up with.
right. And Pooh kills Maria in some super graphic way, and Christopher Robin hops up. We do see an explosion in the car. They got a cool explosion. As Pooh is walking towards them, it blows up. I want to say that's when Christopher Robin runs off into the darkness. We just cut to black. We're at the credits.
Yeah, man. That's yeah, it just kind of like ends. You're like, all right, well, that was a ride.
Right. I think and I hope that's what it was intended to be. You're going to get an audience no matter what because of the name recognition. It's going to happen. Even if it's people that just want to be pissed at you about it. You're
Right.
getting some sort of, in these situations when you're a budding filmmaker or you're a budding anything, any press, good press.
Absolutely.
Victories have been won. I just watched that when I was down working in Port Huron the last week. The Eddie Murphy thing on Netflix about Dolomite, about Rudy
Oh
Ray
yeah.
Moore. Yeah, and I had read some because I always liked Dolomite. When I started getting into exploitation stuff, I just went down every hole I could, like fucking werewolf exploitation and fucking Nazi exploitation, black exploitation, whatever. And Dolomite was fucking dope, dude. That was like somebody just making a movie to make a fucking movie. And I think that portrayal did a really good job of it. And he didn't accept, a lot of that bad press and shit that was coming out. And I think there's always going to be an audience for something like this. They made it palatable enough. They used their budget effectively. They were like, this is what we have. What the fuck can we poo?
100%.
No, for real though. They did a great job in even so I was just at Record Store Day on Saturday and one of the records was this soundtrack. They put out an exclusive vinyl for Record Store Day for Pooh Blood and Honey and I was like, "Cool. Good for you, dude." Like that's cool that your thing's doing a thing. And we got a sequel not long after, which we could just talk about it next time and just go back to back because I really enjoy it. I think I like the sequel even more than I like this one because I think it had a little bit bigger budget and they did some fun shit with it. But again, I haven't seen it, I think, since it very first dropped. And this whole MS brain fog shit can make it hard to remember long-term things. But in some ways, it's great. I'm like, did I really remember it anyway? So they used, I believe they got a hand of cards and they played it extraordinarily well. Is there anything you want to add before we get to the scoring of Pooh, Blood and Honey?
I agree with you that it just really it could have they could have not even tried and still made their money back with this thing. But they had some horror movie love that they threw into this thing. It has great practical effects, like you said. So they deliver. So many times have I watched a movie that like looks fucking apeshit crazy. Jack Frost is a good example where you're like, what a crazy idea. A snowman killing people. And you're just like, this movie is garbage.
A
You
serial
know,
killing snowman.
I mean, the idea is cool, and that's what brings people in is the cool idea. And then
Sure.
hopefully we're going to see Shannon Elizabeth naked.
Yeah, right. You have to wait
This though,
a
I,
couple years for
like
that.
you're right. This though, I felt like delivered on its promise, which was so good. And then the second one, the only thing that wanted more of was like more characters. Like I was like, "Where's Tigger in this thing?"
Right.
And the
Which you get
second
a
one,
little
where's
bit.
Tigger?
Yep, yep. You get a little bit. And I'm like, I want to see Rabbit. I want to see, Kangaroo. Bring them all in, dude.
Yeah.
I'm here for all of it. So, who was the fucking, was he a mole that whistled when he talked? There was somebody whistled, when he would speak. If anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, please let me know. So, out of five honey dripping poos, because poo dripped a lot of honey in this. He had like snot honey and
Oh
fucking,
yeah, lots of
yeah.
stuff dripping out of poo. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I dug those big oversized containers of honey that he had, that came
Yeah.
right out of the cartoon. Like I dug that.
I expected Zelda to come running or Link to come running up and grab one and smash it.
Totally.
Yeah, so out of five dripping poos, how many do you
Yeah.
give 2023's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
I'm gonna give this a 3.5 because it's not a perfect movie. It the fact that it's short makes it way more palatable than it was if it was like one of these like big
3 hour epics.
yeah 3 hour epic horror extravaganza. Like they did themselves justice by keeping it short, keeping it fast paced, and we'll get into that in the second one where I think the second one loses a little bit because of the pace,
Right.
because there's way more exposition. This one, almost zero exposition. You get that little bit in the beginning, which, like you said, the animation I thought added production value because I
Me
was like,
too.
dang, I got an animator to animate this shit. It
Right.
was cool. And the narrator was fucking top notch, dude. Like the narration
Oh,
sounded
yes.
legit.
Yeah.
Sounded like the old Pooh Corner like guy.
Right. You're right. You're right. I forgot all about that until you just brought it up. You're right. Oh, Christopher Robin left away and yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I give it a solid 3.5.
Yeah, right on, man. That's actually the score I had in my head the whole time. I was like, I'm coming with a 3.5 for this thing because, like you said, there's so much. Some shots got held on for too long. The swoops went a little, but I can forgive so much of that. But if you put it next to something in my mind like Black Christmas or Jaws, some of my shit, Halloween, Psycho, we just talked about last week. That I
Right.
apologize for that taking a couple days, extra days to get out, but I'll talk about that when we get to the mindfulness section a little bit. So 3.5 for me too, man. I like it. It's fun. I like the second one. I'm excited to talk about that one too. And if you've got Peacock, is who has this? Yes,
Yes.
NBC Universal. So if you've got Peacock or anywhere, if you want to buy it, I think it's worth, I think whatever the $10 I paid for it, and it supports small, like they can make a second one if you pay for the first one, whether it's a rental, whether it's a purchase. I think we've all stole shit off the internet at one point in our lives. I know I was a fucking Napster bear share kid. You know what I mean? I was that generation. However, I have tried over the past like 15, 20 years to, if I like something or if good or bad, I'm going to give you the money because you put some fucking time into it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And a lot of this shit for $10, I'm like, okay, fuck $10. I'll watch that. Fucking, I've already watched it 3 times now. I watched it
Right.
once when it first came out, and then I think I revisited it half-ass watching it a little bit, and then this time I really sat down and it's what I needed in life right now. So yeah, solid 3.5 for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So now let's talk about the mindfulness, that part of the show where we get into the those good. That's those good ones. This has been a crazy couple of days. So I started, let's see, Saturday morning. I'm sitting outside Happy Days Records at 4 a.m. There's two people in front of me. The one cat said he'd been there since 9 p.m. the night before to make sure he got a copy of Wicked on vinyl. Because I was like, hey, what are you guys here for, though? Because Wu-Tang dropped an exclusive vinyl that you could only get on Record Store Day, independent shop. Sure, you could buy it on eBay the day after, but I didn't want to do that. I stood in line. These things were all numbered. They printed 5,000 of them, and every single cover was different, which is not radically different, but different. And I'm like, that's kind of fucking cool, dude. And then I got number 828. I sat out there. I got some records. I've been looking at Record Store Day ever since they announced that Wu-Tang was going to have a new album dropping on Record Store Day. So I get home after being up. Oh, and prior to this, on Friday night, I went to bed around 10, and my son calls me, FaceTimes me at 11:45, and he's like, "Yo, Dad, what's the PlayStation login?" And I'm like, "Fuck, fuck." I gotta wake up like in 2 hours to go to Record Store Day. He's like, I don't want to fuck no. Like I texted to you or something. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot because I told him I was doing this. And then the alarm clock in the bedroom, my sister's old bedroom at my mother's house where I stay when I'm down that way, starts going off at 2:15 a.m. But like fucking not radio or anything, just like noise, like. And I'm like, what is it? I just start hitting a thing and it goes off for a second. And then I must have hit the snooze because it pops back. So I'm like, all right, I'm awake. It's 2 whatever in the morning. I get all my shit together, head up to the record store, have a great time up there, get home, do get some relatively good sleep on Saturday night. And then our cat that we got for our youngest, he was acting real sick and shit. You know what I mean? The past couple of days, I throwing up everywhere, biley, but not like in a good way. Not like I got it out. I feel better. He was just getting more and more lethargic. Something was wrong. So last night I called the animal hospital, the closest one, the emergency animal hospital, because it's Sunday. And I call them and I'm like, hey, man, my cat's fucked up. What can you do for me? And she's like, oh, hold on. Okay, what are the symptoms? Da 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 da. List them all off. Hold on. Okay, send me to somebody else. I know she already asked you, but what are the symptoms? Okay, da 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 da. Okay, hold on. All right, I just talked to the doctor. We ain't got no room for you. Here's a number to somewhere else. The veterinary hospital at Michigan State University, which is in Lansing, which is about an hour and 40 minutes from my house.
Oh.
So I'm running on very, very little sleep. And I'm sitting there talking to the lady on the phone. And as I'm talking to the lady on my phone, my wife is really worked up about this. She doesn't want anything to go bad. And I'm like, hey, grab me a pair of pants, please. Grab me a pair of something, please. And just loaded the cat up in the fucking cart, put the cat in the thing. We drove the hour and 40 minutes, got him in there, and they walked me through all this shit. First, the lady at the counter, this was kind of amazing, though. I like this woman. Like, she could have been a character in a fucking movie. She's on the phone. She's every once in a while, she's like, hold on, I'm so sorry. And then she's like, they're trying to register a horse. She's like, I've never registered a horse. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. I'm just sitting here enjoying it. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is crazy. And so I get my cat in there. They tell me the initial exams could be like $800-900. I'm like, whatever, do your thing. Got to take care of the cat. She's like, all right, so it's going to be a couple hours. So I go get gas because I had no gas in the gas tank, and I knew I wouldn't want to do it when I wouldn't want to do it once I got the cat in the car. So I went and got gas, came back, and sat and watched the first episode of Black Mirror, the new season, on my phone, and then moved all the shit out of the back seat of my car, and my 6 foot, almost 3 ass curled up in a tiny little ball and slept back there for like 2 hours. And then she called, hey, come on in. Yep, we did all the tests. It looks like he ate an eraser. Like, I'm like, okay, what does this entail? She's like, all right, lays it all on me, got to feed him all these fluids, get his kidneys back functioning well, yada, 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 yada. in a nutshell, I'm really hoping they called us and said the surgery and everything went well, but he went from, a rescue cat to possibly a $7,000 cat overnight. I leave him there, get back home, crawl into bed, fuck, pass out. I text you right before I fall asleep, and I'm like, oh, homie, homie. I gotta fuck sleep, and I will text you when I get up, but I still want to record. I really want to do this thing. Yeah, dude, no worries. I wake up, I think like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. After going, I pulled into the driveway about 10 to 6. So I probably fell asleep by like 6:30, 7 o'clock, somewhere right in there. And then woke up, you just been lounging around. But the reality of what they talk about with MS in this is called malaise. And it's a different kind. Like people be like, "Oh, I've been tired before." And I'm like, you don't understand. This is a completely different experience. It is like it feels like being full of concrete. Like you just like almost can't move. When I was in my youth, I made some poor choices. And one time, a friend of mine's mom sold him some Oxycontins, and we took those. We're in like high school or something, maybe a little bit after high school, but we took those. And I remember I did not like that. I didn't like that feeling at all. That like being, and that this is similar to that, but I don't dislike it because it isn't a choice I made. You know what I mean? Like with that, I was like, fuck, I don't like being drugged like this. With this, it's like, oh, this feels similar to being drugged. Like it's the closest relationship that I can make. And so I have had a lot of time over the past couple days because it started awesome. I'm like, fucking sweet, got some new records and shit, get to go home, fucking rest, record, do this stuff. Life will never stop throwing shit in your face. It will never stop. And when I looked at it long enough, I'm like, yeah, it's my fault. Like, I can't be mad how much it costs. I was like, I took the cat. That's what I did. I could have also made the choice to be like, yo, just let him fucking go. But my mom rescued that cat at day one. The mother abandoned it and she raised all the kittens and we gave it to my youngest daughter. I'm like, I'm going to at least try. And so, and that's my decision. I know some people will be like, fuck that. Like it's a cat. I know people like that.
I'm that way.
Right.
I think that you're a sweet baby angel for doing all this because my son's cat like pissed in on my couch where I sit. And I was like, fuck you, cat, you piece of shit. And then I found out that the cat had like a UTI infection for like 6 months and I just wasn't paying
Uh,
attention. And the
uh,
cat was like, it would like pee and its tail would like shake and he'd be like,
yeah.
and I'm like, God, what's wrong with you? Why do you keep pissing on the floor? So they're like, this cat's been fucked up for a long time. And I was like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah. It's we all had a long talk about though. If I find anything on the floor, I'm gonna throw that shit away immediately. I will not
Yeah,
ask
don't be leaving erasers on the floor.
I will not ask you. I will not nothing. I will pick it up and I will throw it in the trash. And that's what will happen. Because I was, like you said, this cat, though, I really like this cat. I really do fucking love this
I
cat.
don't care if it's my best friend. I don't care if it's Winnie the fucking Pooh. He's starving out in the woods because I don't care. I go into college.
Yeah. Listen, but I'm driving home semi hallucinating, I think, from lack of sleep.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
seeing fucking because as I was driving initially, I was seeing a lot of rabbits, deer moving. I to get from A to B for me from this location to the other is just all back roads and farmland.
And
It's
that's so dangerous.
at night in the middle of the night,
Yeah. Yeah. And you're
and
sleepy.
and the cat's in there, and he's like meow, and so I'd open his thing a little bit and stick my whole hand in there and be like, "It's okay, buddy, I got you, homie. Don't you worry." Mew mew, and just petting him and shit. And they said if everything goes good, then we can go pick him up hopefully tomorrow, as long as he can keep food down. But then we got to keep him isolated from the other cats for a couple of weeks. He's gonna have the funny ass cone on his head, and I'm gonna look right at him and be like, "You fucking did this to yourself. I hope you know that." Right. I hope you know that. But at the end of the day, it is my fault because I am the one who got the cat. You know what I mean? I'm the one who had the child who wanted the cat. Whatever. You can, yes, yes, you can always take it back to extreme ownership, everything being your responsibility. Because throw something at me that's absolutely not your fault.
I don't know. What are you looking for?
I'm just any kind of examples. For instance, like when you were in your job stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have been like, this is my fucking boss's fault. This is so and so's fault. But at the end of the day, you step backwards enough. You chose to take the job.
Yeah. But
So
I quit because Pops Ghostly told me to.
I did
I
not.
was like,
I might have encouraged you to. Actually, I might have encouraged you to quite a few times because you were in a bad way for a little bit there, my
I
friend.
was. I
Yeah,
was.
it was not good. But everything can be, or you keep going even further back. You chose the lifestyle that demands the paycheck that that job required. Or you could go back, you got married at some point that then required the house for the kids that it can always go back to our personal responsibility. And I think when you take that shit on, when you really step back like that, and there is a book called Extreme Ownership that's all about the principle that's really good. And I think probably explains it way better than I do. But if you pull it back far enough, everything is our responsibility. And when you take that, I believe there's a freedom in that. Even though it sounds like not, it sounds like, oh no, everything's my fault. But it frees you from the mental constructs of anger and animosity and pointing fingers towards other people that is toxic inside of us. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Now I'm on the same road with you.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. And if you do that, it kind of removes the fear from making big decisions
Mhm.
because you know that in the end, you only have yourself to blame for whatever happens.
Right. And
And
even there's a book because that's a great the way you just put that. There's a book I read where I can't remember what book or how he phrased it, but he said something. Oh, it might have been Ryan Holiday, one of Ryan or James Clear's books. Either way, I'll try and figure it out. But he said you are living the life you deserve, no matter what. It's
hey, yeah,
based on the decisions you've made. You are living the life you've earned. And your decisions will either move you, one way to stay in it or one way to, move in another direction outside of it. And if we don't make those decisions, somebody will try to influence
somebody will make it
us,
for you.
will
Yeah.
try to influence us one way or another.
Yep.
They will try to say, yeah, you feel this way, so buy product A. And part of me, we've been going through some crazy shit in the US. If there's anybody listening outside of the US right now, we've been going through some crazy shit with all this tariff stuff. And as I've been following all the stories around the globe on it, because I have a certain my Apple News, it's like the Apple News Plus or whatever. So I can be like, oh, show me Wall Street Journal, Time Magazine, whatever, and read all these things and kind of get the different perspectives about how everybody's viewing this. And I think if you take one step bigger of a view and jump up one level higher above all the politics and all the stuff, it's the question I would ask, and I've been asking myself, is maybe this is just some kind of like a wake up call that we don't need to be buying so much shit.
No fucking kidding, dude. Yeah. You said
I said it, and I stand by it
it.
because I've been thinking a lot about this, and a lot of times whenever my head starts to go to, oh, it's fucking Donald Trump or it's fucking this party or it's that party or anything like that, I try to say, what, I try to stop, breathe, and say, I hope peace for this whole situation. Like, try to get out of any of the defensive stuff, and I hope peace on this situation and then find ways that you can act on that. I've been thinking a lot lately about the idea of wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge comes first and then wisdom is second. Like, knowledge is knowing some shit, like knowing you should do some shit, knowing you should eat right. That's knowledge. You have the awareness. Wisdom, I believe anyway, is putting knowledge into action. That's wisdom when you're like, yo, I know I should eat right because this shit is toxic to me. I'm gonna eat better because I know that shit's toxic to me. So you can have wisdom, then you can have knowledge. So, but you got to have or knowledge and wisdom, but you got to have the right knowledge, I believe, first. A clear knowledge, which I do think is that kind of bigger up, like we were just talking about. Like, why do we need to buy all this shit? You're not looking at specific people and things like that. It's trying to be like, okay, what's the biggest, concern here? What's really going on? And I think it's people scrambling because there's so much money involved in global economics and they don't want to lose, these crazy lavish lifestyles. I read this Canadian article on the BBC, and this girl was like, "Yo, it's coming up. We don't know what to do." So my husband went out and filled the fridge with Guinness because we heard there was going to be a tax on beer. And then she's like, "I hurried up and ordered these yoga pants because I didn't want the price to go up." And the price on the yoga pants initially was $150.
God dang, dude. Them
That's
shits is 19.99 at Walmart.
And that's the world. But even that, like we have the 1999, we have the 150, but people so worried about consumption. It's like, do you have one or two pair of yoga pants already? I'm trying to realistically look at my closet and be like, how many could I get away with? Like, could I get away with 7 t-shirts and 7 long sleeve shirts, for wintertime? Could I get away? Because I've kind of crushed away all my stuff that's got branding on it. It's all in those bags that are those vacuum bags, you know what I mean? Putting all, and it's why do we need so many things? And we're getting really worked up about it.
Right.
Yeah,
Because people don't want to change their comfort. And
right.
everybody's so comfortable right now. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm going through my closet. I'm like, what am I going to do with all these fucking t-shirts and all these shoes? I need one pair of shoes.
Right. I
Maybe a backup if I step in deuce.
right. And I do a lot of yard work and shit. So I've got like a pair of boots that are for outside.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, I only really wear one pair of shoes. I'm like, I've got
I
to,
like my movie collection, dude. And I go, what the fuck?
yeah,
How much
yeah,
money did I spend on all of these DVDs?
right.
I've just been part of the problem the whole time. And now that they're gonna be 59.99, I'm not buying any more movies. I'll wait
Right.
till that shit's streaming.
And that's kind of what I did. I've gone over to a primarily digital library with some VHS and some DVD, Blu-ray stuff, but that's more. I'm even looking at that shit. Like you said, like I just got rid of my whole lot of vintage video games because I've been
Yeah,
walking around. I know, and it was a little bit heavy, but those are the things where I'll sit now for a moment where I used to be like, oh no, I don't want that feeling of loss. Now I might sit with it for a second and do a couple breaths and be like, why am I experiencing that feeling of loss to begin with? And then just sit in it, breathe. And it's like, you know what? If I can walk around and be like, I have not physically used this in 2 years, why am I still holding on to it? Because think about it. If none of us didn't have all this shit, you wouldn't need as big of a house.
yeah, exactly.
You need big house for a lot of shit. And then some people, house will be full of shit and they'll be like, I need storage units.
Yeah, to store my shit that I can't
More
fit
shit
in my house. Right.
that I can't fit in my house.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree. It sucks right now, but man, I think it's the change that needed to happen. I think people
Yeah.
are starting to wake up and realize, like, oh shit, we've been some pompous ass Americans for a long time. And the rest of the world, I expected a lot of people to be like, ha, stupid Americans, you're finally going to get yours. But people have been really cool actually and been like, oh, yeah, see how it goes?
Yeah. There's a
The
really,
biggest thing is
really,
how America makes us think that we can't go anywhere because everywhere else is so unsafe.
but
If
it's
you leave
not.
America, you're gonna die getting off the plane. Like
No,
that's I like that,
not in a
dude.
lot of places. There's a really cool book. I read it a while back. I'm sure it's still out there somewhere in some edition called Hot, Flat, and Crowded. And it's all about global economics. I think I took it in, grad school or whatever, but or maybe undergrad, but either way, how they like mapped it out. And I remember seeing this diagram on a world, it was essentially on a globe, just like interlaced webs all over the place. Now, money from here goes to here, and it goes to here, and it goes to here, and it goes to here. And everything is so interconnected now. I don't feel a lot of countries have that opportunity to just be like, well, fuck you. There's a couple of them, like fucking North Korea, but you look at that shit from space and you're like, man, that's a bummer for a lot of those people, but maybe they're happy as fuck over there. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, we're going on so many different tangents here. We will just leave it at that. So sweet fucking movie, Pooh Blood and
Excellent.
Honey, excellent movie. And my last, I think this is where I wanted to start with, but I never got to it. So I'm gonna leave it right here is what's your excuse? Ask yourself that. Because if my like shaky leg fucking crazy ass can go out there in the middle of the night, fight for what fucking matters to you. If you're tired, it doesn't matter. Fight for it a little bit. If you're like, oh, I'm so sick of this, do it for another hour. But yeah. And that's what I think I'm gonna write. I want to write an essay just with that title. What's your fucking excuse?
Yeah.
And just because, and there's a lot of people that I look at that I'm like, fuck, what's my fucking excuse? There's people who really fucking inspire me in that way. People who have lost all their limbs and shit and somehow fucking drive a car and fucking all it's amazing. There's people who have overcome extraordinary odds, but they were just human beings too. So we should all ask ourselves, what's our excuse? And then be like, why is it an excuse? Fucking change that shit.
Yeah.
Christopher Robbins, I love you. Horror Pop Extravaganza. I've been Pops Ghostly.
And I've been Christopher Robbins.
No! No! No!
Extravaganza.